the Natural Resources Benefit Sharing Bill. And Mr. Speaker, when you look at our country, Kenya, the key natural resources that we have, as much as we will look at what they've listed, but the key ones, we find ourselves with gold, iron, titanium, gemstones, fishing, and many others, as they say, wildlife. But Mr. Speaker, now when we look at the bill that the Senate is proposing, and I know we have a Mining Act, and we've realized that, Mr. Speaker, for many years, Kenyans who were very smart those days, they went into different communities and were able to identify these mines very early. And so you find these are their lands today. And so even if, as we talk of the bill and we want to ensure they want to benefit, you realize that you find that there is a private person who believes this is now his land. He or she is the one who is handling the title deed and everything. Yet communities are there. They are unable to even just enter this land and get what is their rightful share. So if we talk about promoting local content and all these initiatives we are talking about, exploration, we have to first ask ourselves and go back to the Mining Act and ensure that all these lands that were taken those days, is there a way that now the mining ministry can sit down with those who are beneficiaries to talk with communities who are the owners of this land, to tell them, in this land, for example, if it is Kwale, or if it's Mombasa, or if it's Malindi, where we have many of these natural resources, and yet there's a private person who is the owner, is there a way first we can deal with that so that communities and counties can start having the right to know these mineral resources that we have, natural resources, how are we going to ensure we work together with the person who got this title many, many years ago. The second thing that the ministry has to do so that we don't find ourselves in conflict, and I know many of this, when I look at Kakamega, for example, Kakamega County, where we have gold, we have so many people there, they are just doing their businesses. But when this law now comes in, we are saying that indeed there shall be a board, fine. That board has to work. And today I'll tell you, Mr. Speaker, if you work in the Ministry of Mining, which I have, and request even today, there's a window where they say, there's a window of rights where you are able to apply and take just a mine wherever it is. And that when you find the things they are doing in the ministry with the team, you'll feel very sad even for the communities. Because the people who know all these things are the people who have been there, who have been in this business, and they understand this business. So first of all, we have to go back and look at those rights and ask ourselves, the windows that, the portal that is there, if I want to apply for a license of mining, is the community given the right to apply first before any other person comes from another county to apply and be given the rights of that mining? And so, Mr. Speaker, when we talk of collection of royalties, and they are saying that the authority shall, in consultation with the Council of County Governors and relevant national government entities, you have to look at the Mining Act, because you'll find the same clause in the Mining Act. And that is what has been happening. And so even for communities who have these minerals to benefit, there is need for us, first of all, to agree. We passed a Mining Act in this country. Is it possible to see whether the implementation of that Mining Act has been working? Is it working for the people, or is it working for the individuals who are the ones now who are the owners of the different minings that we have? Mr. Speaker, when you come now to the benefit sharing agreement, and I think this is where we want to now agree. There is a benefit sharing agreement which is part 4, and we are saying every affected entity shall enter into a benefit. And I just want to read, Mr. Speaker, so that you realize sharing agreement with the relevant county government before the exploitation of a natural resource in the affected county. It means In the Mining Act, already there's someone who is already handling, who is in hold of this. So for you to come with within that agreement as a community and with the relevant county government, and before you even do that exploitation, you must sit down. So even as we are passing this benefit sharing bill, we have to look at the overlaps of the law within the Mining Act and the sharing and the benefit sharing bill, so that we don't find ourselves in conflict every time. When we go sit down, we realize the regulations in the Mining Act are already are also guiding us as the law is about to guide us in this one. It says also, Mr. Speaker, the benefit sharing agreement shall include non-monetary benefits that may accrue to the county and the contribution of the affected entity in realizing the same. Now, the affected entity is the community, or is it the national government, or which is the affected community? It has to be very clear so that we also don't find communities, and I know we have very many communities. Look at the Kwajams, Mr. Speaker, in Baringo, with all the rubies they have there, but they have never benefited. But today they are in war, they are in bandits, yet under the ground they have a natural resource that can just transform the whole of Baringo. So that is why I'm saying the government has to be clear and must be willing to commit itself that when we are bringing in all these bills, they have to work for the communities that own these lands. Mr. Speaker, then we are told at 28, each county that has a natural resource to which this act applies shall establish a county benefit sharing committee. But I know also in the Mining Act, there is a committee. How will they work? So I want to tell also the Senate, it is important to look at both. If you want really Kenyans to really benefit in this, it is important to look at all these acts so that we don't find ourselves, well, we have finished all the good work we are doing, we've passed the law, but it becomes again a barrier for those who are supposed to benefit, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, even as you look at now the function itself, and you go to the functions of the mining, you'll be so surprised some of the functions here are the same as the other. In consultation with the respective local community and upon conducting public participation, negotiate the terms of a benefit sharing agreement. The law is there to help, Mr. Speaker, to facilitate, not to bring back people again to start negotiating. We have to help them to facilitate and ensure. We need to put, the way in the Mining Act, there are percentages that have been put. Yes, there's 40, as Mheshimiwa Mishi was saying, there's 60. But then, in the end, if we are sitting down in a joint benefit sharing agreement, yet we thought the law was to cure that, so that we don't find ourselves back and forth, communities again running to court to say we are not agreeing. They will run back to court. Now the courts again will be the ones assisting them to unlock and interpret the law again, which I know it is the work of the court, but for us in Parliament, I think it is important when we are doing a law, it should be a law that is, it's explicit, it's clear, and it's able to just be read by any layman person, and they are able to benefit in it. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, as much as we are giving the counties all the powers that we would wish, let us agree to assist counties by looking at what the Mining Act, it's very clear, it has a lot of powers at the national government, and therefore if we are saying land is with the counties, then let the counties be more involved in this than even the national government. With those few remarks, Mr. Speaker, I beg to support, but to ensure we have clear amendments and no overlapping of the two laws.
The Honorable Dido Raso, followed by the Honorable Waluke.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, and thank you for giving me this opportunity.